Hello and welcome to another edition of the Big Centre TV show, which is all about the movies. This week we'll be taking a look at new releases, including the return of Dad's Army, plus Jack Black in Goosebumps, political drama Trumbo, and also the new version of action-adventure Point Break. First though, we like to showcase the work of local movie makers on this show, and I'm delighted to welcome Dan Evans from EAP Films, who's the latest man in the hot seat. Dan, welcome.
Thanks for the invite.
It turns out the film that we showed last week, Calling All Time Travellers, you shot that, you were involved in that.
Yes, I did, yeah.
It's a small world, isn't it?
It is a small world.
Tell us a bit about you then.
Well, I graduated from college about 10 years ago. By 2009, I set up my own company, doing commercials, corporate videos for local businesses, and that's sort of been going for the last 7 years now. I've been doing that across the UK, mostly sometimes around Europe as well. Working for the organisations in all kinds of sectors, from customer service to event organisations, digital advertisement, virtual reality, that sort of thing.
It doesn't really sound like your 9-to-5 job, really, then, does it?
No one likes a 9-to-5 job, do they?
Why filmmaking then? What got you into that in the first place?
Wow, good question. For a long time now, I think films has always been a passion of mine. I think Star Wars was really the big opener for me.
Not the original prequels.
No. The original.
Yeah,
back in '77. Yeah, my stepbrother actually lent me the videos because I wasn't actually alive at the time they were released. And
That's made me feel really old.
Sorry about that. So we watched the Star Wars films, and that kind of as with everybody, took their imagination. So I really it just captivated my imagination, and I started just writing stuff.
Writing what? Sci-fi, fantasy? Was that the genre direction you wanted to go?
I think so. I think sci-fi is really kind of where my creativity lies. I mean, I've had a big interest in time and travel, sort of the sci-fi aspect of it all. It just really interests me.
Hence, Calling All Time Travellers last week.
Right.
So short films. I mean, how do you start when you're putting something like that together? What comes first? The idea, or a location, or something you've seen before that inspires you? Or
I think a mixture of everything. I think if you have an idea of a story, great. Sometimes it can be a location that you think, great, I'd love to do a film about. Let's say you go to a cave. Oh, great, you could use that location for this sort of scene, and then the sort of story kind of springs out from that. Inspiration from existing movies. I mean, every film now is inspired by each other, so I think it's a combination of everything.
And you're a Birmingham boy, are you?
I am, yes.
So
yeah.
what's it like being a filmmaker in this area? I mean, do you find that, do you get drawn to other parts of the country where it's perceived that that's where you need to be, or is this a good place to...
I think it depends on the project. I mean, quite often you'll find that there's an abundance of talent in the local area anyway, from actors to crew. So I think it depends on who you work with and on what's going around. I mean, people say you have to be in London. It might help, but there's also great opportunities in Manchester as well, so it just depends on what's going, I think.
But there are a lot, as we've found on Big Centre over the last 12 months, a lot of local movie makers, actors, technicians, writers, and there's a real sort of camaraderie between them all, isn't there?
Yes, and that's a great thing about filmmaking, is that you get to network with all these people, and you often find that you'll visit one set to work on one shoot, and you'll see the same actors you've just been working with in the previous film, so everyone kind of knows each other, and that's quite nice. You have a nice little community, and everyone kind of helps each other.
Does that not make it more difficult to stand out with any project you're making, though, or not? Is there more competition?
I think it does create more competition. I think it can be healthy, because it makes you more determined to rise above the rest. The trouble is, you're not only fighting from people in the UK, but all around the world as well. Especially with the price of technology now, you can get a decent DSLR and you can go out shooting and shoot something really nice.
Well, you can see, I mean, the media industry, newspaper photographers are being, their competition is people taking pictures on their phones now. It's happening in the whole industry, isn't it?
That's true, yeah.
Now tell me I want to talk to you about Time Hoppers.
Time Hoppers.
This is top secret classified, almost, isn't it?
Yes, if we mess this up, we can go back in time and we'll erase it.
Excellent. Will it hurt?
I won't tell you.
Okay, that's fine. Tell me what you can tell me about Time Hoppers then.
Okay, so Time Hoppers is a group of time travelling agents, and their role in the universe is to go back in time to prevent apocalyptic or catastrophic events that can effectively wipe out the human race. So they will go back, alter historic events, and obviously in the future it should play out okay. But during one of the missions, one of our characters gets killed.
You're not telling me too much, are you?
No,
That's all right.
This is all part of the
Okay.
opening act. And one of the other time hoppers then decides to try and go back and save her, but it doesn't quite work out the way it plans out. And ultimately, the persistence and the chain of events that go from that cause a lot of problems for the future.
And the idea of this is what, to make a feature-length film or a series?
A series would be good. What we're trying to do is shoot the opening 5 minutes of the episode and then pitch it to Amazon. And all being well, Amazon will pick it up and make the series themselves.
And you've been jet-setting in the process of doing your research, haven't you?
Yeah.
Recently back from Iceland?
Yes, Iceland we did in April last year, and it's just an extraordinary location. The landscapes, 10 minutes this way and 10 minutes that way, are very different. It's just incredible. So we're going back again this April to shoot a lot of aerial footage, and also to capture some more footage from the same places that we went to last time.
Well, let's have a quick look at what Dan's already shot on their first visit to Iceland.
Well, we're in Iceland, and it is a little bit odd. I'm not going to lie to you. But yeah, so far so good, and we'll see where it takes us.
We finally made it to Salto, as it's known, the geothermal site. The landscape is rather beautiful. We've made pretty good time today, and we've now arrived at Gullfoss at the top vantage point.
Actually looks like a fantastic backdrop to filming. I mean, it's bleak, it's stark, it's startling. It's an amazing place, isn't it,
This is
Iceland?
a heck of a trip as well.
Why did you choose to go there in the first place?
I went on holiday once and found the whole country completely mesmerising. I've not even considered it as a destination before, and having taken that one trip, it just seemed to fit. Like we were talking earlier about locations, what inspires you, and that location just really spoke to me. So I'd like to have shot something there at some point, and I think Time Hoppers really works well with what we're doing to then shoot in Iceland.
So fingers crossed. You're obviously shooting Time Hoppers now.
Yeah.
Have you got a finishing date or a target date?
Well, soon as really. No is the short answer. We're hoping to have had a second day of shooting sometime this month, which still needs to be organised. But following that, I reckon about a month or two of editing, and then hopefully we can go live with it.
And in the meantime, obviously you've got your corporate videos. I see you've done everything from Dunelm to Stourbridge News, haven't you? So
Yeah,
it's
lot of
life is
coverage.
varied, isn't it? So
It's great. Every day is different, and I can't complain.
well, good luck. Tell us as soon as you can tell us more about it. Please come back in the studio and do that, Dan. Thank you very much. After the break, we'll be catching up with the latest recruits to the Home Guard with the return of Dad's Army. Don't panic.